So, hello there, welcome back to another video on Metasploit all the things. It's a continued series for the course Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. The course helps you to prepare for the OSCP or equivalent certificate from the, of course, the offensive security. And what we are continuing here is the second part of our course against Metasploit all the things. The topic that we are covering here is the auxiliary, throughout which we are enumerating against the different services. The one which we have already completed is the MySQL, and we'll move ahead with the NFS, SNMP, MSSQL, and HTTP, and so on and so forth. With that being said, let's just move ahead with the practical approach and let's get started. As usual, I'll navigate to my next service, which is NFS, and I'll look into what are the services or what are the auxiliaries available for this particular service, which is NFS. So search, I'll just hit up arrow in order to find the same, and instead of typing again and again. So search auxiliary related to NFS, is network file system. What it offers is scanner, which will gonna scan and mount the NFS. So, or it will gonna scan the NFS probably. So use one. I'll see what are the options available. Set our host, which is 10.0.0.18, which is my target machine, and L host is already defined. The protocol that we need to specify either TCP or UDP. I can go with the UDP, of course, or I can also specify protocol TCP, and should be good. As we already know, NFS uses RPC, which is running on port 111, in order to share those file system service. So let us execute this. Run. It says mountable NFS export, which is MNT and NFS underscore share, and this can be mounted for the IP address within the range of 10.0.0.24 or from 0 to 24, like 255. So yeah, this is all what for NFS we saw with the tool show mount, and we can manually mount that, and also we can use the nmap. So this is like an alternative for the same. Moving ahead with the SNMP, and within the SNMP we get multiple information or so much information against our victim system that we already saw. So let's see what Metasploit auxiliary offers. So search auxiliary for SNMP. It has multiple auxiliaries, but we are more focused for the enumeration, and here's the one. So use 14 options, set our host 10.0.0.18, SNMP version by default, that's the one. I'll go with that. No need to modify such things. Community, I'll still go with the public, and let's give it a try to run. So here we have most of the information in the right manner. If I scroll up to the top, the system information disclose all the system related information. Network information disclose all the different interfaces, and of course the communication between the victim system and the remote system, the listening ports, listening UDP ports, some storage information, drives, and all the things. File system information, what type of file system they are using. Device information, it says it's a Ryzen 7 processor they are using. Interface, network card, this is a virtual system, but if you are running against the dedicated system, this will gonna be again the detailed one. So process information and so on and so forth. It's the same information that you will going to find with SNMP check, or SNMP var. So that's it for SNMP. We'll move ahead with MS SQL. MS SQL offers, of course, the different possible enumeration, and the common that I have already specified here is as a user with as a password. So it's all related to username and login to this MS SQL. But let's see what auxiliaries are offered by Metasploit. So MS SQL, here we have the important ones are the scanners. The first one is login, second one is hash dump. It might going to dump hash post login. Ping, MS SQL schema dump, MS SQL exec, MS SQL enumeration, and there are a lot. So let's start with this enumeration first, what it offers. So user 8 options in order to navigate to the different options are which are offered by MS SQL, of course. And the things it require is our host, our port, and the other things are the default specified. So I'm not gonna trouble it at all, and let's specify the R host here. So the R host will be 10.0.0.15. I'm not wrong. And yeah, should be fair enough. The username will gonna be used as SA, and the password is empty. If you know the password, you can specify elsewhere. Let's just run. Here the login failed, of course, and we already have few of the common possibility. We know that the Windows authentication with the rob and rob works here, so let's just give it a try. So set username rob, set password, which is R0B rob, and set use underscore Windows auth agent to true. So what it's gonna do is it will gonna use the Windows authentication, and let's run it. Here we have most of the information out of that MS SQL service. The information tells that this is the version information, of course. Configured parameter XP CMD shell is enabled. What it discloses: database information, database files information, and there are a lot. System login information, the username basically, disabled account, and there are a lot of information which you can manually navigate. So these are information which could be helpful for your assessment. However, we are more focused to check this for possibilities. The first is, of course, SA with SA. It will fail, we already know. SA user with the common password, and we know that the password at 123 works. So you can manually navigate and specify in order to enumerate the further things, of course. However, here what is important is to get the login credential working. So you can either use this enumeration or you can specify this login, specify your user list, specify your password list, and that's it. How we did for the FTP. There are other scanners, so let's give it a try with one of those. So I'll go with let's say my MS SQL exec. What it's gonna do, it will execute command. So use 7 option, set our host 10.0.0.15, set username to rob, set password to rob, set use underscore Windows auth agent to true, and the command, of course. So set cmd equals to who am I. So should be good, and let's validate once. It will run the command using the password rob on 10.0.0.15 running on port 1433. There is no encryption I'm specifying. The technique, I'll go with the xpcmd shell. There is also another alternative to that, which is oa create. Username is what it will gonna use, and it will gonna use the windows auth agent. Basically those rob is the username for the particular windows environment. So all seems to be good, and let's run. Here it worked, and the return output is somewhere the same. The similar output you'll find here, where we can enable xpcmd shell and execute the wmi command. So this is an alternative to that within the Metasploit. So that's it. That's all for this MS SQL. Moving ahead with the different service. So the next service is not small to enumerate. However, we'll be focusing on few different things. The first and foremost is, of course, the directory enumeration. And the tool that we have seen is GoBuster and Nikto. Nikto is a scanner, of course. So let's see what Metasploit offers again. The auxiliary related to HTTP, and there will be a lot, of course. So we are focused on scanner. So I'm gonna say search scanner, and for the HTTP, we have auxiliary HTTP scanner. Again, it's a huge. Let's specify auxiliary slash scanner slash HTTP, and should be better. There is a useless brute dir as for the directory brute forcing. So let's just use 104 option set our host 10.0.0. Not 15, 18 this time, and the other things are fair enough. Let's run it. And we're going to brute force directory or directory specific. The next I'm gonna use is 114, which is interesting files. So there are a lot, of course. We cannot go and check all manually. The one directory we found is /doc. Not moving further because it might take a little time. Instead, let's just use 114. Options set our host 10.0.0.18, and the other things I'll keep as a default. If you want to specify your Bob suite the proxy, you can of course go ahead. Let's run. Okay, we found one interesting file. It is index.back. Not sure whether it is there or not. Let's just give it a check with the curl. Oops, not the right URL I copied. Link address. Well, here it says it works, so probably it is the right HTML directory. Now the backup file, basically what it displays is it works. Cool. There's HTML file, so it will going to find the interesting files over the server. So yeah, that's it. That's all what is planned, of course, for this HTTP. There are a lot more possible auxiliary scripts for the HTTP, but those are for the specific CMS. So there is a CMS, let's say ThinVNC. There is a CMS for uh, there is a CMS Joomla, WordPress, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, that's it. That's all for today. Hope you liked. Hope you learned something new. And this is what we are done with our auxiliary topic. From the next, we'll start with the few of exploits in order to understand the interpreter console and the few other console techniques and exploitation way, of course, how we can execute the exploits. So that's it. That's all for today. See you next time. Hope you liked, hope you learned something new from this entire series of Metasploit all the things and map and enumerate all the things. And if you do, you can navigate to channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates, and of course hit that like button, the video that you loved. So that's it, that's all. See you next time.